The campaign opened with a 2-2 at Genoa, Thuram's brace briefly turning it around before Macias levelled late after earlier missing a penalty. Home comforts brought a 2-0 over Lecce, Darmian striking early and Çalhanoğlu converting from the spot to nudge Inter top. Momentum built with a 4-0 over Atalanta, an early own goal setting the tone before Barella and a Thuram brace finished the job. Away at Monza, Dumfries' late reply made it 1-1 to keep the run ticking after the Atalanta rout. Total dominance, zero reward. Inter played like kings but finished the season empty-handed. European duty began with a controlled 0-0 at Manchester City in the league stage. Back in league combat for the Derby della Madonnina, Di Marco's strike wasn't enough as Milan nicked it 1-2 with a late winner. On the road after the Derby setback, Martinez hit a brace as Inter edged Udinese 3-2. Into the Champions League at the Meazza, Inter cruised 4-0 with 4 different scorers against Crvena Zvezda. Turning back to league business for the Derby della Madonnina, Thuram's hat-trick decided a 3-2 over Torino despite a late penalty narrowing it. At the Olimpico, Martinez's second-half finish earned a 1-0 at Roma and kept Inter's league push moving. At the Wankdorf, Champions League night stayed tight as Thuram nicked a 1-0 winner at the death after an earlier missed penalty. League action resumed with a wild 4-4 against Juventus, Zielinski's double matched by Yildiz in a breathless stalemate. Back on the road, Fratesi struck twice in a measured 3-0 at Empoli as the scoring streak hit 10 league games. Back at the Meazza, Martinez settled a tight 1-0 against Venezia as the wins kept stacking. Under European lights at the Meazza, Çalhanoğlu's penalty was enough for a 1-0 against Arsenal. After that Arsenal night, league business brought a 1-1 with Napoli, Çalhanoğlu replying despite a missed penalty on the day. Away to Verona, a 5-0 cruise with Thuram among the doubles underlined a strong response. Back under European lights, a Lacuba own goal proved enough for a 1-0 over Leipzig and kept Inter rolling in Europe. Returning to league play, Di Marco and Barella set up a 3-1 over Parma, with Thuram adding gloss and a late Inter own goal the only blemish. At Leverkusen, the European run took a late hit, Mukiele's strike handing Inter a 1-0 defeat. Back to league action, Inter shared the load in a sweeping 6-0 at Lazio to extend the unbeaten run to 10. Cup duty at the Meazza brought a calm 2-0 over Udinese, Arnautovic and Aslani sending Inter into the quarter-finals. League rhythm continued with a 2-0 against Como, Carlos Augusto early and Thuram late. Away at Cagliari, Bastoni, Martinez and Çalhanoğlu delivered a composed 3-0 to make it 5 straight league wins. In Riyadh, Dumfries fired Inter past Atalanta 2-0, his second-half brace sending them into the Supercoppa final. The Supercoppa final turned brutal. Martinez and Taremi put Inter 2 up, then Milan roared back to win 3-2, with Abraham striking late. Away at Venezia, Darmian's early finish was enough for another 1-0 as Inter kept the pace steady. Back home, a 2-2 with Bologna checked the surge, despite first-half goals from Dumfries and Martinez. The next turn brought a 3-1 over Empoli, Martinez setting it up before late goals kept the unbeaten league run at 15. In Prague, the Champions League tempo held as Martinez's early finish secured a 1-0. Back to league play. 4 different scorers shared a 4-0 at Lecce as Martinez hit double figures in all competitions. On the final night of the league stage, Martinez's hat-trick fired a 3-0 over Monaco and locked in advancement. For the Derby della Madonnina, De Vrij's late equaliser made it 1-1 and stretched the unbeaten league run to 17. The next step stung. A 3-0 defeat at Fiorentina, with Keane striking twice in a heavy setback. At the Meazza, the response arrived as Inter beat Fiorentina 2-1, helped by an own goal before Arnautovic restored the lead after the break. At the Allianz Stadium, Conceição's second-half strike handed Inter a 1-0 defeat and checked their momentum. Back at the Meazza, Martinez's late finish beat Genoa 1-0 and steadied Inter after the Turin setback. Switching to the cup, Inter beat Lazio 2-0, Arnautovic and a Çalhanoğlu penalty booking a semi-final place. At the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, Di Marco's opener was pegged back late for a 1-1 with Napoli. Into the knockout rounds, Thuram and Martinez delivered a 2-0 first-leg win at Feyenoord despite a missed penalty. Back to league rhythm, Inter completed a comeback 3-2 over Monza at the Meazza, an own goal sealing the turnaround. At the Meazza, Thuram and a Çalhanoğlu penalty sealed a 2-1 on the night and passage to the quarter-finals. Away to Atalanta, Carlos Augusto broke it open and Martinez's late strike clinched a 2-0. At home, first-half goals from Arnautovic and Fratesi built a 2-1 over Udinese before Solet cut the margin. In a derby semi-final first leg, Çalhanoğlu's strike earned a 1-1 at Milan to keep the tie finely poised. League duties resumed with a 2-2 at Parma. First-half goals from Darmian and Thuram cancelled after the break. At the Allianz Arena, Martinez struck before Fratesi pinched a late winner for a 2-1 over Bayern after Muller's reply. Back home between European nights, Arnautovic, Martinez and Bissek delivered a tidy 3-1 against Cagliari. The return leg finished 2-2 at the Meazza, Martinez and Pavard doing enough to send Inter through to the semi-finals. At Bologna, the title push took a last-minute blow, Orsolini deciding a 1-0 defeat. The derby semi-final unravelled at the Meazza, a 3-0 defeat to Milan, with Jovic's double sealing elimination. Back at the Meazza, the slump deepened as Inter fell 1-0 to Roma, another blow in the title race. In a pulsating semi-final first leg in Barcelona, Dumfries' brace and Thuram's early opener set a 3-3 platform despite an Inter-own goal. Back in the league, Asliani's early penalty delivered a 1-0 over Verona and confirmed Champions League qualification. A 7-goal thriller at the Meazza saw Inter win 4-3, Acerbi and Fratesi striking late to complete the comeback and book a place in the final. Away to Torino, Zalewski struck early and Aslanis' penalty wrapped a 2-0 that kept Inter in the hunt. At the Meazza, Bissek and Dumfries had Inter in front before Pedro's brace, including a late penalty, made it 2-2. Away at Como, De Vrij and Correa closed the league campaign with a calm 2-0. At the Allianz Arena, the final slipped away in a 5-0 defeat to PSG, with Doué among 4 different scorers to bring the season to a harsh close. Inter spent most of the year looking like the strongest side in Italy, controlling league nights, thumping Lazio 6-0, and then outlasting Barcelona in a semi-final that felt worthy of the trophy itself. But the crueler swings decided everything. Milan blew up the Coppa run, late league stumbles against Bologna, Roma and Lazio cracked the title push, and PSG crushed the Champions League final before silverware ever never arrived. Total dominance, zero reward was the brutal ending for a side that played like kings and still finished empty-handed. Thanks for watching Scoreflow. Please like, share and subscribe.